Yeah, we'll get to it a little bit later. Let's go out to the guest line. We're going to talk to new Marlins General Manager Kim Ng is joining us there. Kim, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Much appreciated.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
First
Happy
of all,
belated birthday.
Exactly. Happy belated birthday.
I was also born in 1968. It's a great year.
Oh, a very good year then. A very good year.
Yes.
Did you get to do anything fun in Miami to go celebrate? Was there a celebration dinner, or did you have to keep it in because of COVID? Like how did the birthday? Because my kids they're already mad. Their birthday parties got ruined. Did you get to do anything special with the family or anything like that?
So my husband and I did go out to dinner. We sat outside, socially distanced from others, so it was good. It was very good.
Very awesome. Well, this is got to be an incredible week for you with getting the gig. I'm curious, Kim, from the hiring process of getting this job, when the Marlins job became available, did they reach out to you? Did you want to jump on that and get back into being the possibility of being a GM again? Like, how did that all go down with this coming together? Because we read about the past with you and the ties to Derek and whatnot, but like, when did you think it was actually going to be a possibility that you were in the game for this?
When I got the call from the deputy commissioner, because we have a permission process, so the deputy commissioner called me and said, "Hey, I just got a call from Derek Jeter. He's interested in interviewing you." And so that's where the ball then started rolling.
And when you get the and that process gets started, like, how does one go about interviewing for the GM gig? Like, do they just say, "Hey, we're interested in you doing this"? Like, do you come in with philosophies and whatnot, like how the job is going to vibe? How does that process go down?
Yeah, so every process is different. In general, you want to have, you want to do a lot of research. You want to talk to a lot of people and figure out, the farm system, how they've done things, whether what their tendencies are in different markets. You want to study the division. So there's lots of homework that goes into it. Domestic signings, international signings, their trades and acquisitions. So a lot of work goes into the prep. And again, I'm speaking generally. And then you get into the room, and it depends. Sometimes it's with the owner, sometimes it's with the president. And actually sometimes it's with a group of people. Probably for the first round, it's a group of people. If you make it to the second round, I speak like I've got some experience in this, don't I?
Certainly.
I've been through it a few times. And then sometimes, they will have you talk to others in the organization. It could be the VP of communications. It could be, someone on the business side. It could be, their director of scouting. It could be a lot of things. So, the format really follows a lot of different, philosophies. They do expect you to have some kind of idea of, how you would build a staff, how you would restructure, how you would think about the team and what things you would focus on. So it really covers quite a lot.
Well, that would be my question, because you were with the Yankees, the Dodgers, the White Sox, teams who have had a lot more money to spend than the Marlins. And being in those situations, when you come into a meeting like this or interview process like this, you're probably aware of the difference in circumstances, and does your plan have to fit that, hey, I can't spend money like the Yankees, or I can't be in the mix for players like the Dodgers. I have to kind of have my plan fit what they want to do.
Absolutely. And look, I think we have an understanding of, where other clubs are, but, what people don't know is when I was with the Dodgers, we weren't one of the freewheeling, spend it all kind of clubs. So the Dodgers have a much larger payroll now than when I was with the Dodgers. When I came into the Dodgers, we had an over bloated payroll. We had one of the worst farm systems in all of baseball. We had to redo, much of the amateur acquisition departments. So it really was, a different situation than where they are now. That's one thing that I just want, you guys to have an understanding is that, I was there when we had to recreate all of that stuff. And just so in terms of our personality here, and that's why I think I'm a nice fit, we know we're going to have to turn over every stone and rock to look for players. That's just a given. That's just our personality here. But really, when you look at it, a lot of this comes from a good farm system. And if you look at what the Marlins have done here, it's about investing in infrastructure. It's about investing in young players and acquisitions, and amateur acquisitions. So they're building from the ground up. And if you look at many of the successful quote models out there in terms of the way a lot of the teams have been built recently, say in the last 5 to 7 years, it's been built from the bottom. Look at Houston when Jeff Luna went in there. It was really, draft picks and having smart strategies and, international acquisitions and, built that team into a team that has been successful for, a sustained period of time. So that's really what we're trying to do here.
I was curious to get your thoughts on this, Kim, because with you working in Major League Baseball in their office last year, you said something in the press conference about having kind of a feel of what all teams are doing when you work in MLB. So from the outside looking in, what the Marlins were doing last year, which was great to see them take their next step and make the playoffs. Did you start to feel like they were turning something around? Because they were a team last year that played with a great chip on their shoulder, like a no one wanted them to be there kind of mentality. So were you seeing things start to turn down here, or did you kind of think it was a fluke with what they were doing? How did you take that in? And then was it different once you kind of got into the weeds of starting to join the organization?
So what I saw from afar was a really good farm system. It's rated, across a number of different publications and outlets as, one of the best in baseball. So that's number one. And then number two, as the season unfolded, for me, and I hope this is what Marlins fans and potential Marlins fans see, is that, this was a team of grit and resilience and determination to not let adversity set them back. From the opening week, when some of the players went down due to COVID, that was a huge setback. I'm not sure if people quite realize, from a baseball perspective, how difficult that is to handle and to find players, to have players step in, so that these guys could just, hold their heads above water until till the full-time guys came back or the regular players came back. That in itself was quite an accomplishment. And then, from there, to build on that, to really start winning and the double headers that they had to play at the end of the season. All crazy. Just incredible. And then to get into the playoffs and to advance past the first round, they were one of 4 National League teams standing at the end. So, from afar, you look at that and you just sit there and go, wow, that is amazing. From a baseball person's perspective, from my perspective, unbelievable, incredible what happened here in South Florida. So that to me said a lot. It said a lot about the players and the staff, and it said a lot about the front office here. So that was pretty awesome to watch.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Kim. So a lot of people got mad during the World Series because they felt like baseball has gotten way too nerdy. Like it's overrun by the numbers. For someone like you who has been in the sport for so long, how do you feel the standing of the game is now? Are we too much of privy to the numbers? Are there too many shifts? Like how do you think that the evolution of the game is at right now compared to like where you wanted it to be, growing with it and all that type of stuff?
Look, for me, I mean, since I've been in the game for so long, I think I've seen it done a number of different ways. I've worked for just old school baseball guys. I've worked for, Paul B. Podesta, who was, probably the first guy to really, come out in terms of analytics. So I've seen it all, and it really comes down to it's a mix. And I've always said that if you go back interviews, 15, 20 years, it's always been a mix to me. And that's what I see as, a great fit, again, with the Marlins organization. They have a very good analytics team. We've got great baseball people here as well. And it really, you just have to make sure it's balanced. I think in any decision that you make, you want as much information as you can. Sometimes you'll balance things one way and sometimes you'll balance it another. But you want to make sure that you have all the information in front of you and then weight it accordingly. So that's the mix that I see going on here. And if other teams are overbalanced one way or the other, we'll just have to try and find a way to beat them.
How was when you got the job down here? What is the impression that you get from Derek, from the rest of the front office and everybody there? What is the impression you get of what last year meant? Like, do they look upon last year as a step, and do you guys look upon going into next year as you guys should take a bigger step? Is it hard to gauge because it was only a 60-game season? How do you think it's fair to judge what last year is because of all the adversity they had to go with, but also realizing it was also a crazy situation because we've never seen a baseball season like that?
Look, I think everyone here was incredibly positive about the step that they took. And I think, everyone, I'm hoping Marlins fans are incredibly encouraged by that step. I think in general, the thought is that we've still got a long way to go. We're not the best team that we think we can be. And that's my job. That's what I've got to try and figure out is how we can be the best team that we can be over a sustained period of time. But that's what we've got going here. I think everyone in general is incredibly positive about what just happened here.
I think everybody's excited, really excited about, what the Marlins have in the near future. Especially with the depth, because, you basically took everybody from Palm Beach and brought them in to play a few games, and they still hung in there.
Yeah, Kim, I'm sorry, I'm ignorant on this. Are we allowed to have a minor league season next year, or do these poor guys have to stay in Jupiter all year next year again? Like, what's the word on that?
So it hasn't been determined yet.
Still, oh man, still up in the air. I felt like that had to be so hard for those guys having to see the same thing every single day while they're trying to develop their careers too. I couldn't even imagine that.
They got to play though. It was unfortunate to a certain point, but to know that you have that much talent in your organization that you could bring up almost a whole new team and win Major League Baseball games has to be promising.
I tell you what it does do, guys. All of our young players, when they see each other, there's some competition now. They're going to see just what they're up against, and the next guy, and there's a bunch of them. So that's the other thing that we're really excited about, is just how much depth we have on the minor league side. We really are.
Marlins General Manager Kim Ng, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. Congratulations again on just what's got to be an incredible week for you, and we appreciate you spending some of it with us.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. You take care.